We're here today to celebrate a new beginning for Johnson Shut-In State Park. What you're witnessing is unique. We have developed and opened many state parks in the past, 85. But this is the first time that we've ever taken a state park that was so devastated and brought it back to life, making it effectively our 86th state park. The park changed forever on December 14, 2005. The nearby Tomsock Reservoir breached, sending over 1 billion gallons of water tumbling down nearby Prophet Mountain and into the park. The water, carrying tons of trees, boulders, and other debris, scoured the mountainside bare and swept through the park. The torrent destroyed or extensively damaged the facilities in the park, including the old campground and the superintendent's home, which was where the picnic shelter to my left is today. In fact, if you visit the picnic shelter, you'll see the remnants of the home's foundation, which was left as a silent tribute. The rampaging water also altered the river and the landscape of the valley and damaged the sensitive natural community called the Fen. Trees stripped from the hillside were piled 15 feet high. Sand and clay, sometimes as much as 8 feet deep, covered roads, campsites, trails, literally everything in the park. You can still see the path that the water took in the scour channel behind you. I remember coming to the park 2 days after the breach and the devastation that I saw. Once we had climbed and hacked our way back into the shut-ins and saw that they were filled with debris but still there, I knew that we could rebuild this park. But it wasn't easy. The first priority was an environmental cleanup. By the end of May 2006, more than 15,000 dump truck loads of sand and debris had been removed from the valley. More than 1,500 truckloads came from the Fen alone. Much of the work in the Fen had to be done by hand to protect the sensitive plant community. So that's what we did. The water had created a dam on the East Fork, and that had to be removed. So we removed the dam. The river itself had to be rebuilt, and now the river has been rebuilt. The shut-ins were filled with debris, and that had to be removed, even taking divers and helicopters to remove some of the boulders. That's what had to be done, so that's what we did. Finally, the facilities had to be repaired and infrastructure had to be built, starting from scratch, essentially. And so that's been done now, too. When we turned our thoughts toward redeveloping the park, we sought input from the public, because our parks belong to you. And what you see today is the result of more than 4 years of cleanup, public input, and redevelopment. We're proud of what has been accomplished and what the public can enjoy today and what future generations can enjoy. What you see around you is just the physical part of the new park. We also need to remember that this park is a special place and beloved by many Missourians, and that many were deeply affected by what happened here on a personal level. Our former superintendent, Jerry Toops, and his family, his wife Lisa, and their 3 children, Tanner, Tara, and Tucker, were in the direct path of the deluge. Miraculously, they survived. Jerry and his family are doing well, and Jerry is still a valued member of our state park family. But many other people were also affected. The staff who worked at this park and everywhere through the state park system felt a very personal loss. Everyone who loved Johnson Shut-In State Park was similarly affected. We've heard many stories of people who have come here since childhood and felt a special connection to the place. This also impacted the community and the businesses in the surrounding area. Our state park system generates about 7,000 jobs around Missouri in communities like the ones around Johnson Shut-Ins, and about $500 million of economic activity every year. So the communities here suffered as well. The park has changed. It now offers new experiences. Today, we look forward. But we must begin by looking back and thanking the people who helped us get to this point where we are today. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge and commend the leadership of Greg Combs. Greg is a staunch employee of the state park system, and he led our efforts and is single-handedly responsible for the success that we've seen here. He had a lot of help. So thank you, Greg. As I said, he had a lot of help. And I want to acknowledge all of the state park staff who has contributed to the work that's been done to rebuild this park. A lot of these folks around here in green shirts have been busy for 4 years coming to this day, so let's give them a round of applause as well. I also want to recognize that many local folks worked and labored to help this happen. We didn't do this work by ourselves. We worked with a number of contractors and subcontractors, and hopefully some of the folks who worked out here and drove those dump trucks and helped build these buildings are here today too. And if they are, I want to thank them for their hard work and effort. Within the Department of Natural Resources, our environmental emergency response team was here at the very beginning, within hours, to guide the environmental recovery. And our staff from the Division of Geology and Land Survey also helped us understand the significant geology that was laid bare as a result of the water. Other agencies were very supportive as well. For example, on the reconstruction of the East Fork of the Black River, we worked with experts from several agencies because rebuilding a river is not something we do every day, fortunately. They included the Missouri Department of Conservation, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and the U.S. Geological Survey. Lorna Domke from the Department of Conservation is here with us today. Lorna, if you could stand and give us a wave. Thank you to the Department of Conservation for everything they've done. Thank you, Lorna. Many private organizations have helped us, and I want to recognize their support also, beginning with Dave Murphy, the Executive Director of the Conservation Federation of Missouri. Dave, thank you for your and your organization's support for everything we do. Susan Flotter, the President of the Missouri Parks Association. Susan, thank you for everything you've done to support the system and Johnson Shut-ins in particular. Support came in many ways from different organizations. The Greater St. Louis Area Council of the Boy Scouts has had a personal connection and long tradition involving this park. In 2007 and 2008, we had between 300 and 400 Boy Scouts in the park to help repair and improve things in the largest single volunteer event in our history, and that's 93 years of history. The Scouts planted trees, cleaned up the fen and scour channel, and helped build trails. When you look around the park today, some of these efforts were because of the Boy Scouts. It's appropriate that they were here today to be part of our ceremony, and we want to congratulate the Boy Scouts of America as well on this being their 100th anniversary. And if you see this, so if you see the Scouts today, thank them for what they've done to help us. Of course, the state park system wouldn't be what it is without the generosity of others. We wouldn't have the land to build a park on today if it was not for Joseph Deloge Sr., who donated to this park to the state in 1955. A plaque recognizing Mr. Deloge's generosity is located on our new visitor center. The plaque was previously on the kiosk at the beginning of the Shut-ins Trail, but it washed away in the 2005 event and was found later in a pile of debris in the woods. Its place on the new visitor center is another example of healing and recovering from the 2005 disaster. We have a representative of the Deloge family with us today. If you please stand so that we can thank you for sharing this place with the rest of us. Thank you. Of course, this area was settled by the Johnston family, with a T, in the early 1800s, and the park was named after their family. The Johnston Family Cemetery is still located in the park, and we have descendants of the Johnstons with us today as well. If you could rise and let us share our appreciation with you. Thank you. Camping has always been an important part of any visit to Johnson Shut-ins. The campground, the new campground, opened for the first time on April 30th of this year, and we wanted to make sure that our most loyal campers were able to spend the night in this new state-of-the-art campground. At this point, Larry and Phyllis, if Larry and Phyllis Moore could come up to the stage, we want to recognize them. Larry and Phyllis have been camping in Missouri State Park grounds continuously for 30 years.